Okay, let's talk about two things that can really stress people out: moving and money. Now, on the surface, they seem like totally separate problems, right? But what if I told you that the language we use for one, like the chaos of a sudden move, could actually unlock the secret to mastering the other? It's a fascinating connection, so let's dive in and see how it works.
Just picture it. You're going about your day, and then, bam, you hear these words. The lease is up, you have to move. It's a sentence that can just send a jolt of panic right through you. Suddenly, your home, your whole sense of stability, it's all just thrown up in the air.
I mean, really, what is it that makes it so stressful? Is it just about taping up boxes and renting a truck? Or is it something deeper? I think it is. It's that feeling of being completely caught off guard, you know? That feeling that life is just happening to you, instead of you being the one in control. That's a huge part of the anxiety.
So to really get a grip on this situation, we first need to understand the language. Let's break down some of the key terms you're going to hear when you're suddenly staring down a move.
It all kicks off with this word, lease. Now, a lease is way more than just a piece of paper. It's the actual agreement that gives you a home. But the most important part of that definition? For a set period. Because when that period is over, a big decision is always just around the corner.
And at the end of that lease, it seems like you've got a pretty simple choice, right? You either renew the contract and stay, or you end it and move somewhere new. But the real stress kicks in when that choice is suddenly taken away from you. Maybe the landlord decides to sell the place. And just like that, you're not just moving, you're being forced out.
And that's when this little monster of an acronym shows up. ASAP. All of a sudden, everything has to be done as soon as possible. Find a new apartment, ASAP. Start packing up your life, ASAP. It's that intense urgency that turns what could be a normal task into a frantic, chaotic scramble.
So, you have to spring into action, right? You're packing everything you own, trying to figure out if you can crash with family or if you have to find a new place immediately. Maybe you even have to throw all your stuff into a storage unit if you can't find anywhere to go. These are those immediate physical headaches you have to deal with.
But hold on, let's just pause here for a second. Is the stress really just about the moving boxes and all the logistics? Or are those just the symptoms of a much, much bigger problem? It's time to look past the cardboard and tape and find the real source of all this anxiety.
We've all been there in some way. Yeah, the hassle of moving is annoying, for sure. But that deep, gut-wrenching anxiety, that feeling of being completely powerless, well, that comes from somewhere else entirely.
And this is it. This is the real issue. A sudden move is so incredibly stressful because it shines a giant spotlight on a lack of financial control. It's a brutal reminder of how fast just one unexpected thing can send your life into a tailspin when you don't have that financial cushion.
This quote just nails that feeling perfectly. This is from a guy named Sam. He's working hard, he's making what should be a good living, but he feels completely stuck. He's vulnerable. So for him, a surprise expense like having to move isn't just an inconvenience, it's a full-blown crisis.
The good news is, Sam found a mentor who gave him 5 simple, timeless rules for taking back that control. And you know, these are the kinds of principles that they really don't teach you in school, but they are the absolute key to building real financial security.
So here they are, 5 simple but incredibly powerful steps, and you'll see they build on each other, almost like a ladder that can take you from financial stress all the way to financial freedom. Let's break them down one by one.
All right, rule number 1. This is the bedrock, the absolute foundation of everything else. You have to spend less than you earn. Before you do anything else, you've got to master this. It's all about creating a gap between what's coming in and what's going out. So let's say you earn $5,000 a month. The goal isn't just to save a few bucks, it's to create a real surplus like that $2,000 you see here. That gap, that's where all your financial power is born.
Remember that panic we talked about from a sudden move? Well, this is the antidote. Your emergency fund is your financial shock absorber for when life, does what it does. It's for the car that breaks down, the roof that starts leaking, or an unexpected layoff. It turns what would be a crisis into just an inconvenience. It gives you breathing room and peace of mind.
Now, before you even start thinking about stocks or crypto or anything like that, the absolute best place to put your money is right back into yourself. Why? It's simple. Improving your own skills, your knowledge, your expertise. That is the most direct path to increasing your value in the world and, ultimately, your ability to earn more money.
And that investment in yourself leads perfectly into rule number 4. Start earning more.
See, once you've really mastered a valuable skill, you can start to break free from the old trap of just trading your time for money. Instead of getting paid for the hours you work, you can start getting paid for the value you create, for what you produce. The better you get, the more efficient you are, the higher your earning potential goes. There's no ceiling.
And this brings us to the final stage, the end game. You've been saving your money, you've built your safety net, you've increased your earning power, and now you get to put all that extra money to work for you. Passive income is all about creating systems, things like rental properties or businesses, assets that make money for you even when you're not actively working. That right there is what true financial freedom looks like.
Okay, so these 5 rules, they sound great on paper, but what does that shift actually look and feel like in the real world? What was the biggest change for Sam? And maybe more importantly, what's the key thing we should all take away from this?
And this right here says it all. The biggest change wasn't just in his bank account. It was in his head. It was a complete mindset shift. He went from passively hoping for a better future to actively building one with a clear, deliberate strategy. It's the difference between being a passenger in your own life and getting behind the wheel and being the driver. So that really brings us to the final question, doesn't it? The blueprint is right here. You now know that taking back financial control is possible. So the only thing left to decide is, what's your first step going to be? Where will you start?